Hey there VR fans, do you like buying things from vending machines, typing slowly into a command prompt, and shooting gratuitous amounts of arrows into everything? Well then have I got a game for you. It's called Apex Construct, and it was released for the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and Windows Mixed Reality platforms on March 20th for $30, and was released for the PSVR 1 month before that. Developed by Fast Travel Games, Apex Construct is the debut title from the newly formed Swedish studio founded by game industry veterans. While there is a surprising amount of typing involved, Apex Construct is in fact an action-adventure title with Metroidvania aspects. The campaign starts when a sentient AI named Mothr pulls you from the void, gives you a shiny new left hand, and starts bossing you around like he owns you. Seems he wants your help, and as the only human on Earth, you're the only one gullible enough to fall for his crap. Using your safe house as a hub, you'll embark on 12 missions set in different areas of post-apocalyptic Stockholm to track down and confront Mothr's arch-nemesis, another sentient AI called Mothr. Is Mothr as evil as Mothr says? Is Mothr as dangerous as Mothr says? Who will get custody of the children? Since it's dangerous to go alone, you'll take with you a high-tech bow with infinite arrows, which also doubles as a shield. The actual gameplay consists of searching the environment for clues, access keycards, and lots of 4-digit codes. Find the key for this room, which holds the code for the other room, which has a code for another room, to get the item and complete the mission. The searching is broken up by ambushing or being ambushed by groups of sentries and, in a few cases, having to defend a structure or location from waves of enemies. And along the way you learn a little bit more about Father, Mothr, and just what the hell happened to Earth. Just a little though, as concrete answers never seem to come out. But the exploration and puzzle solving is appealing, and the combat is fast, fluid, and loads of fun, once you get the hang of it. The major fights can be a bit overwhelming, and death will result in the loss of accumulated XP, but ultimately all fights are completely manageable with proper positioning and tactics. Seriously, you won't be standing still at all. Dodging shots, ducking behind cover, around corners, and even blind firing all make for very engaging combat sequences. And the enemy AI, which seems pretty standard at first, makes great use of cover, shields, and has a tendency to swarm and surround you if you stand still for too long. As for the exploration, it helps to pay very close attention to your surroundings. If you overlook a room or corner or desk drawer, your progress grinds to a halt as you backtrack repeatedly trying to find the clue you desperately need. It feels like looking for your passport in the minutes before you need to leave for the airport. You've been through all the rooms and all the drawers 10 times with mounting anxiety, and then you'll suddenly find the one corner you've been missing and you can be on your merry way. I also have to mention the typing sequences. Codes and hints will be stored in files on terminals around the environment. It's engaging the first 3 or 4 times, but after that it becomes a bit tedious to type in commands into the command prompt. It's immersive in the sense that you're interacting with an object in the same way that you would in real life, but it slows the pace of the game, and the memos laying around accomplish the same purpose. Granted, this is the only way to discover all the backstory and lore, so maybe you want to push through anyway. Controls are handled well in general, and a number of locomotion configurations are available. Strangely, despite its stated support, Windows Mixed Reality users will have to use the touchpad for smooth movement like the Vive, even though support for analog sticks is available on the Rift. I've never found touchpads precise enough for movement, and always prefer the analog stick option, and I think it's a shame it wasn't added in the March 27th patch. The bow mechanics suffer a bit from Windows Mixed Reality limitations. The bow has a fairly long draw distance, and if you anchor your draw hand at your chin or cheek as is proper practice, you'll lose tracking of that hand, limiting your aiming ability. Naturally, Vive and Rift owners won't experience this, and Windows users will have to alter their bow technique accordingly. That said, with a couple hours practice, it is possible to reliably place arrows where you want, when you want, and even get rapid fire bursts to land on target. The world of Apex Construct is put together beautifully with a unique painterly look style. Everything is realistically proportioned, nothing is abstract or cartoonish, yet everything has an almost watercolor illustration quality. The style works well throughout the game, from the vistas of shattered Stockholm to the caves under the city to the halls and meeting rooms of the Signia facilities. The slightly unreal style meshes perfectly with the game's premise of a world that has been broken and twisted. The bow itself is intricately detailed, as are the different arrows. Enemy design is inspired by nature. The most common drones mimic insects, while the kamikaze robots are more canine. And there's also a giant explosive teddy bear. The menu is, in my opinion, a shining example of a VR menu system. It's intuitive, aesthetically pleasing, and functional, and it walks the fine line between realistic interactivity and in-game practicality. Handling your inventory, weapon selection, and mission objectives so concisely and beautifully should be more common in VR. The sound design doesn't stand out as much as the artwork, but it is similarly well done. Music is sparse and ambient with the occasional swell at certain sites, and combat music lets you know when there are enemies in the area as well as when they've all been defeated. The bow is drawn with an ear-pleasing slide sound, and arrows land with a solid thump. The AI voices are expertly cast and acted, even if Father's tone isn't exactly convincing. Seriously, I don't know if they were aiming for Ultron from the Avengers, but they nailed Ultron from the Avengers.
The readings are weaker here.
Mothr sounds a little bit like the femputer from that one Futurama episode, but is similarly menacing. And I mean this in a good way. The AI characters are supposed to be morally ambiguous, borderline evil, and the voice acting absolutely captures this. Comfort will be dictated by your choice of locomotion, and the game provides ample customization in this respect. Between teleporting, turning, and smooth movement options, you'll be able to find something that suits your play space and level of comfort. Vignetting or tunnel vision is also available during moving or turning, though I've never personally found it particularly helpful. Apex Construct definitely has a high immersion factor. The visuals and audio help, but the combat really involves your whole body, and that's what draws you in. I actually would have liked to see more combat segments. I have to admit, I wasn't immediately drawn into Apex Construct. Maybe it was the key hunting or the not so subtle hints regarding Father and Mother. But the art style drew me in, and I found myself looking forward to each new combat encounter and was ultimately wholly immersed in the campaign. The game has a more leisurely pace than something like Doom VFR or Arizona Sunshine, and it is first and foremost an exploration game. Playtime clocks in at around 10 hours, with a few more needed if you want to clean up the remaining secrets. I think the game relies a bit too much on the hidden keys codes mechanic, and it would have been refreshing to see a few more environmental puzzles thrown in, like the sequence with Father's head, but these complaints are minor in the grand scheme. Overall, the game is very well made, from the unique art style to the fluid action sequences. It's a proper AAA quality single-player campaign, lovingly crafted specifically for VR. And I think that's the game's real triumph. In a sea of demos, short experiences, and games adapted to VR, Apex Construct shows the world what a made-for-VR experience can be. Even with its minor flaws, it's an adventure well worth your time. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more of this, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and be sure to check out my other reviews as well. See you next time.